Hey guys, great to see you. Joe here, and thank you for joining me for another lesson. Now, in this lesson, we're going to take a look at a song called Key to the Highway. Now, it's a very popular song, and many people have covered the song. Now, irrespective of whether I give you a taster of these songs or not, it's always well worth your while taking a listen to the originals. Now, as I say, many people have covered this song, and my particular favourite versions of this are by Big Bill Broonzy and by Eric Clapton. Now, the thing is that they both played the song in different keys, okay? So in this lesson, we're going to be covering a lot of ground. We're going to be taking a look at both versions, but perhaps more importantly, I want to try and help you with your soloing and how you can kind of be able to accompany yourself by playing the rhythm and also putting some licks in around that rhythm playing, okay? So we've got a lot to cover in this lesson. So, you know, let's get started and I will explain some of the basic principles for you, and then you can go away and practice these and come back and keep delving into this video, and the further you get, the further you move along with it, as it were. Okay, so Big Bill plays this song in E, whereas Clapton plays it in A. So what Broonzy does is he plays his E here, and it's essentially just a D position. Yeah, so you're familiar with your kind of D there. Well, he moves that up too. And what's important about this E is that we only play the bottom three strings along with the E in the bass, because the D and the A string make it sound a little bit wrong, okay? So we're trying to avoid those strings. So he kind of plays this E, and then he goes to a B, which is here. Okay, so that's just, if you think of an A7 moved up 2 frets, all right? So that's, I'm basically barring the bottom 4 strings on the 4th fret and then adding this finger to play the 1st string of the 5th fret. Okay, so that's our E and our B. Then he comes to an A here, like an A7. But what a nice thing to do here is to slide from the 2nd fret of the 6th string to the 4th, and then hit an open A string before you play the A chord. So that sounds nice. So just so you can hear it in context, you've got then he goes to a traditional E, to a B7, and then what he does is he takes this the 4th and the 3rd even, and the 5th strings on the 2nd fret, those two from the B7, and he slides them up to the 4th fret, so you get this kind of, and back down. Okay, so this B7, it's an unusual kind of time signature in a way. Back to the B7 and the E. Okay, so they're the kind of chords that he uses, the kind of voicings, if you like. So we have this D, as we've said, D shape moved up to make an E on the 4th fret with these 1st and 3rd strings, and then the 2nd string on the 5th fret. Just the bass with the bottom 3. Then our B, B7, yeah. Slide if you can. Back to a standard E, B7, now this is very, very similar to Mississippi River Blues, which is something I've already covered, and I'll put a link down below because there are lots of licks in that which you can actually incorporate into this song, as you will hear when you check that out. If you check it out, it is very, very similar in its structure. Okay, so essentially that's all that's happening with the Big Bill version. Now I've simplified it. He plays quite a few licks around that and everything else, but I just wanted to kind of show you what he does, because we'll be looking at the licks more so in the Clapton version. Alright, so that's your kind of Big Bill Broonzy version, which he plays it in E. Okay, now there's nothing to stop you just playing the kind of shapes that you're familiar with, your E here and your A here and your B7 there, but this makes it kind of better, I would say. Okay, now Clapton plays it in A, okay, and what he does is he takes this same D position here and he moves it right up here, okay, which is essentially the 9th fret, 1st and 3rd strings, and the 2nd string is on the 10th fret. Now he plays it there, he does the same thing here that we did with our B here. Yeah, so that's just all on the 9th fret. All right, like bar. I'm kind of just barring those bottom 3 strings and then playing the 2nd string on the 10th fret. And again, okay, we're looking to just play those bottom 3 strings along with the A, because this is an A chord, so it will make sense. Yeah. Then we switch to a bar of on the 9th fret playing the bottom 4 strings, and then we use our 2nd finger to add the 7th on the 10th fret 1st string. Okay, for his E. And explore these shapes, yeah, because they're quite interesting. Do quite a lot with them if you just play about with them for a while. Now when he plays his D, he comes back down here and plays a D7, which is kind of nice basically. I mean, if you imagine a D shape like so, then the D7 is, rather than playing that 2nd string on the 3rd fret, he just plays that on the 1st fret, and he's taking this 1st finger on and off. Now as well as playing this D7, he's also putting his thumb over and playing the F sharp in the bass as well as the top end. So that's an F sharp and that's an F sharp, okay? So you get this kind of... Now you can play around with that and just, you know, kind of see what works for you. You can kind of do all kinds. It's a very Robert Johnson kind of feel to that kind of D7, if you like. And again, another Robert Johnson trick. He comes up to this A, which we've covered again in some of our Robert Johnson lessons. We're on the 5th fret there and we're playing the 2nd and 4th strings. And then on the 6th fret, we're playing the 3rd string. And we're just playing between the 2nd and the 5th strings. So that's like the A. He slides it down a semitone. Then he comes back to his E here. Okay. So we have Okay, so we've covered that lick again, haven't we? Yeah, it's another Robert Johnson one. And there's a lot of kind of poetic license with this lick here. Okay, so let's take a look at it. We're on the 5th fret and we're playing the 1st and the 4th strings, okay? With those 2 fingers, that's quite important, yeah? All right, and then all we're doing is on that 4th string, we're dropping down in semitone, so we're going. Okay, 5th fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, all the while playing this. So, as I say, when I'm talking about variations, okay, what we can do is we could just play it. Okay, so that's just kind of echoing the bass, if you like. But Robert Johnson has a tendency to kind of play more notes on that bottom string there, okay? So it's kind of, yeah, you get the idea? So it's optional, so you can play, or play around with it. This is what it's about, yeah? So, and then back into the E. Okay, so it's the same thing as the Broonzy, but just in a different key. That's all that's all that's going on. Now, it doesn't mean to say you have to play your voicings in the same way. I'm just showing you these because they may be voicings that you don't already know. You may just be still at the stage where you're playing a lot of your kind of open chords down in this position here if you're in A. So you play your A there, your D there, and your E there. Okay, so this will help you kind of with your chord vocabulary just understand more positions, perhaps if you don't already know them, okay? So remember that this D position here, as we've already discovered, is a D in its normal position, obviously. Move it up 2 frets and we have an E. This would be an F, this would be a G, this would be an A, okay? The only thing to bear in mind sometimes is that if you don't have much of a knowledge of theory and things, then you won't be too sure about which of these open strings you can play. Okay, so it's a safe bet to always just play the strings that you're fretting. And obviously if we're playing an A here, as I've already mentioned, that this 5th string is an open A, so that will obviously work, yeah? So D position, D7. So that's kind of a couple of ways that we can play the song. In a basic sense, yeah, we can, in a chordal way, if you like, and there are a few little kind of embellishments because, as I say, if you're not kind of strumming this, then you know even by finger picking you're creating a little bit of melody by. So just by not strumming it, whereas if we were strumming it going. Okay, so that's a kind of strum if you like, but what I'm trying to get at here is that if you finger pick it and separate the notes, then it sounds a little bit more melodic, okay? So another thing that you can do with this, as you can do with any of these songs, is you can try and accompany yourself. Now, what many of you, it would appear to me, would like to be able to do is to kind of put some riffs around that, okay? Now, what you need to understand is that I can show you some riffs and I will show you some riffs and I will show you some things that we can do with this number. But you see, what's very, very important also is that yes, that's fair enough. You want to learn some stock licks that you can use within this key, and that's what I'm going to show you and stuff like that. But perhaps a far more important point is that you spend some time kind of playing this in a simple form and thinking to yourself, what group of notes or what sounds would fit in to what I'm trying to do. And the only real way of doing that is to see, for this position, okay, we're in the A major pentatonic. Now, if you're not sure what that is, okay, if you can imagine an A minor pentatonic, which I'm sure of you, most of you will know. All right, I'll just quickly run through it. You've got 5/8 on that 6th string, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, 5/8, yeah? I'm sure most of you know all that, all right? So it's 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, 5/8, all right? Now, all we do is we move that down 3 frets, all right? So rather than playing it here, we go 1, 2, 3, and play it in this F sharp position, if you like. Okay, so now we have... Now, we can add the blues notes, the blues scale note there by playing this note, which is 8 on the 3rd string. So we can go 5, 4, 2, yeah? 5, 4, 2. So we got 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, and 4. 2, 4, 5, yeah? On that 3rd string. 2, 4. We can play 2, 3, 4 here if we want. And just make it a blues scale, okay? So your pentatonic would be just missing this note. Okay, so that's 5th string, 3rd fret. And the octave of that, which is the 3rd string, 5th fret. All right, so that's what we're going to be kind of using for our key to the highway. Right, so if we start out in A and we play, that's what we know our rhythm is going to be. So we need to start it with a riff. So coming from this blues scale, that sounds okay, yeah, something like that. I'm not going to go for anything terribly technical here, okay? I just want to help you with the basic concepts, okay? So we're on the 4th string. I'm playing that a few times. 1, 2, 3, and then we're hammering on to that 4th fret, 3rd string. So, sorry, 4th string. So we're on the 4th string, 2nd fret. We're looking to do that. 1, 2, 3, hammer. Then we're onto the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then the 5th fret. And there's a slight bend there. And then I come back to the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So we have... Now at that point we need to be playing. So it doesn't come in here. So you see, these are the concepts that you really need to make some headway with if you're going to be doing this type of thing. Now this is why I'm always banging on about timing and how important it is, because if you don't have timing, how are you ever going to know how the rhythm should be played when you come back in, where you left off with the rhythm and where you should come back in? I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So this is why it's absolutely so important to have some fundamental timing, okay? So back to our opening riff. So that's our A part, right? We've covered a lick and a little bit of A. One more time. Now we want another little lick before the E, so we'll just walk back down. Okay, so that's 3rd string, 5th fret. Same bend. Back to the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Then an open. And then we play an E here, which is just 4th string, 2nd fret. Which leads us nicely into playing our E. Okay, so far we have... Yeah? Now we're going to a D. So all we're doing here, 1, 2, 3, on that 4th string 2nd fret, hammering on again onto the 4th fret, 4th string, and then we're finishing on the 3rd string 2nd fret, so leads us into the D, and it stays on the D, so we put another little lick in, which would do, okay, so that's just 4th fret 3rd string, and we're bending that back down, then back to the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then we're playing the 4th string 4th fret, and back to the 3rd string 2nd fret. So now we have then we just come back to this 4th string 2nd fret. Same kind of lick, okay, so 2nd fret to 4th fret. We're playing that 2nd fret 4th string. It's always kind of hitting it a few times. And it's a hammer on before we go to the 3rd string 2nd fret. Then we're on this 5th fret 3rd string again with that slight bend to the A. Okay, back down. Alright, so that's just 4th string, hammering on again to the 4th fret, and then going to the 3rd string 2nd fret. So let's just run through that then, yeah, one time so you can hear what it sounds like really slow, alright? So if you think of it, that the lick has got to fill a certain time slot, yeah? That's what all of this stuff is about. So hopefully you will understand that by me showing you this kind of thing, you will be able to kind of play what I'm playing and things will fit. But the problems may come when you start trying to put your own licks together and fit them in, because it may be something that you haven't really tried before. So my advice to you is to think of it as a time period that you have to fill, okay? So we have this kind of A going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So when I play a lick, it's... You can hear that it's filling the appropriate time scale for us to come back to the... It's all falling where it should. Now, it could only take a couple notes more and it might not fit. So you see, this is the skill. It's about getting the licks to fit what you're trying to do. Now, hopefully, guys, that will help you in some small way. You need to just start off very, very basic. Maybe learn those licks that I've shown you there. But much more importantly, thereafter, just kind of go real slow. And it doesn't matter if you play the chords a little bit longer, as long as you're getting the ideas of licks which will fill certain time scales, you know? Okay, so it's kind of important to work on that aspect of your playing, because that is something that really will help you quite a lot. So I hope that this has helped you guys in some small way, and check out the record itself, have a listen to that, that always helps. And I hope it's been of some help, and I really look forward to seeing you next time with another lesson. And thank you very much for joining me. If you found it useful in any way, perhaps you could click on the like or the subscribe. And for anybody who's looking to help me kind of continue on with these lessons, there are some links down below for, you know, to support me at Patreon or make a donation or something like that. And for those of you who are kind of interested in all this solo kind of licks and things like that, I've recently started a micro licks thing over at Patreon, and essentially it's going to be a kind of catalogue of licks, stock licks, that you can use within certain keys, which are kind of tried and tested, if you like. You know, they're kind of licks that you may well have heard but not sure how to play them. And there's just going to be one of those happening every week over at Patreon, so it will build quite a library for you to kind of dip into and stuff for those of you who are interested. So anyway guys, take care and I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining me.